Hi, I'm going to do a quick demo of how to get some graphs in StatCrunch as well as copying and pasting them over into like a Word document. So there's two different ways to have data sets. You could have like an Excel file like what we had in class. So I could always just upload a new data set that I've saved somewhere on like my desktop or another file somewhere, just as long as you know where it is. For example, here's that spinners data that we worked with in Chapter 5. So I could just load that in. So that's one way to have your data. Another way to have data is just open a blank screen. So if you straight here and just open to StatCrunch, you'll just get a blank screen where you can enter in your own data. So kind of showing you how you would do this for your homework. So looking at the first one, looking at the Ballard County, for example. So in Ballard County, we had a total of 225 students, and 212 of them did graduate. So I could put on here that they did graduate. Then I would have some then that did not graduate as well. 212 did graduate. There were a total of 225. So if I took 225 minus 212, I would find then that 13 of the students did not graduate. Now I could also name these variables if I'd like to, so I could just say graduation status and maybe call this one count. Then to create my pie chart, I could just go to graph, pie chart. This would be with summary. And I want to look at graduation status, and the counts will be in the count option. And I could put a title on this, so looking at Ballard County High School students. And then hit compute, and I'll get my pie chart. I could also do the same thing and get a bar graph instead, still with summary. Same idea where the categories are and the counts are, as well as a title. And compute. So here's my graphs. If you'd like to, under the bar plot one, you could also put the value above the bar, and that can sometimes be helpful for students. You can see those exact counts instead of having to ballpark it on there. You could also change this to be the percentages if you prefer those instead of the counts, and then those percentages would match what we have in there as well. Just kind of matters which way you like to see your graph. Once you have your graph completed, if you go to options, if you right click and try to copy the image there, so copy it. And it kind of gives you some directions down there. So right click the image, copy image. When you go to Word, go have a Control-Alt-V. So we're going to copy the image and then come over into my Word document where I want to paste that. Hit my Control-Alt-V. Do the device independent bitmap. And then it'll put it in there, and I can resize it from there. So we can just change the size if you want as well, so that you don't have a huge graph that you end up having to print out from here. That's the best way I recommend doing it, is copying and pasting these into a Word document, because if you go out here, you'll notice that there is a print option, but when you do that, the one graph will be your entire page, and so you'll be losing a lot more pages that way. Real quick, we'll also show you how to do it graph from a data set instead. So let me go where we can upload another data set, or I might just use one of my old ones that I have out here. One that would make sense to do. A pie chart for. So here's one where we have looking at airport status as if it was a canceled flight, a delayed flight, or on time. So there I would have the actual data, and go to a graph pie chart with the data and just click the variable that I'd want it for. Again, could put my title on there that I'd want and just hit compute. So that's another way if you have the actual every individual person's answer to a question instead of just the summary. So hopefully that'll help you guys create the graphs and get them printed for your homework assignments.